Hi everyone, welcome to Legal Talks with Malak. I am Malak and this is my first video on YouTube. Today, I'll talk about the possible questions you might face in a bar council interview. If you are preparing for it, this video will help you get ready. Don't forget to subscribe for more legal insights. Okay, so first we will talk about basics about some major laws. So the first question is in which year were laws like IPC, CRPC, Evidence Act, Constitution and new criminal laws that is BNS, BNSS, BSA enforced. So the IPC was enforced in 1860, the CRPC was enacted in 1973, the Indian Evidence Act came into effect in 1872. The Indian Constitution was adopted on 26th November 1949 and came into force on 26th January 1950. And for the India's new criminal laws, BNS, which means Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita BNSS, and Bharatiya Saksh Adhiniyam replaced IPC, CRPC, and the Evidence Act respectively from 1st July 2024. Our next question is how many articles are there in Indian Constitution and how many sections are there in the criminal laws? So the Indian Constitution originally had 395 articles in 22 parts, but now it has 470 articles and divided into 25 parts. The IPC had 511 sections, but the new Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita will have 358 sections. The CRPC had 484 sections, while the new Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita has 531 sections. The Indian Evidence Act had 167 sections and its replacement, that is Bharatiya Saksh Adhiniyam, has 170 sections. Moving on to the next question, what are the essential elements of a crime? So, for a crime to be legally recognized, three elements must be present. That is actus reus, which means the guilty act, mens rea, which means the guilty mind, and causation, which means that the act must cause some harm. Without these elements, an action may not be considered a crime. Next question is, how do substantive law and procedural law differ from each other? So, the substantive law defines rights and duties. Example, the IPC defines crimes and punishments, while procedural law lays down the process to enforce laws. For example, the CRPC explains how trials are conducted. They both work together. Substantive law decides what is illegal, and procedural law decides how the legal process works. Our next question is, what is the difference between cognizable and non-cognizable offense? So in cognizable offense, the police can arrest without court permission, for example in murder. While in non-cognizable offense, it requires court approval, for example in defamation. Our next question is, what are the key features of the Indian Constitution? So first, our constitution is the lengthiest written constitution. It contains 470 articles in 25 parts and it has parliamentary system, which means that there is separation of powers among the legislature, executive and judiciary. And our constitution ensures personal freedoms and responsibilities through fundamental rights and duties. Also, it contains guidelines for governance through DPSP, which means Directive Principles of a State Policy. And our constitution promotes secularism, which means that no state religion, and it gives equal treatment of all religions. Moving on to the next question, it is, what are the different types of writs in India? So, we have to know that writs protect fundamental rights and can be issued by Supreme Court through Article 32 and High Court's Article 226 of the Indian Constitution. So, there are 5 types of writs: habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari, and quo warranto. So, for habeas corpus, it means that produce the body, which means that it protects against illegal detention. And mandamus means we command, and it directs officials to perform their duties. Prohibition prevents lower courts from overstepping authority, and certiorari transfers a case to a higher court for review. For quo warranto, it challenges a person's legal right to hold a public office. Next question is, what are the fundamental rights and fundamental duties under the Constitution? So fundamental rights are enshrined under Articles 12 to 35. Fundamental rights are right to equality, right to freedom, protection against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and constitutional remedies. While fundamental duties are enshrined in Article 51A. It states that citizens must respect the Constitution, national symbols, and protect public property, among other responsibilities. So now we will move on to next section, which is criminal and civil laws. So our first question is, what are the different stages of a criminal trial? So in a criminal trial, first we file an FIR, then there is investigation and charge sheet, then third is trial and arguments, and fourth is judgment and sentencing. This question is explain the doctrine of res judicata, which is very important. Res judicata simply means that once a case is decided, it cannot be refiled on the same facts. Okay. Next one is, what is the difference between a contract and an agreement? So, an agreement means any understanding between parties, while contract is a legally enforceable agreement. You should also know the elements of a valid contract. So, what are the elements of a valid contract? It is offer and acceptance, lawful consideration, competent parties, free consent, and most importantly, legal object. Next question is, why was there a need for new criminal laws in India? What are the new criminal laws? They are BNS, BNSS, and BSA. So why did they introduce new criminal laws in India? The answer is to make laws more modern, faster, and victim friendly. And also, the important reason is to remove colonial era provisions. Major changes in new criminal laws are that it focuses more on technology and digital evidence, and it is faster, and it provides faster justice delivery system. And now there are stronger laws against organized crime and terrorism. And how do the new criminal laws impact the judicial system? So, the new criminal laws make the judicial system faster, more transparent, and victim friendly, as I have said, by setting strict timelines for trials, strengthening victim rights, and recognizing digital evidence. Also, they introduce stricter punishments for serious crimes and simplify outdated legal provisions, making the system more efficient and accessible. Our next question is, okay, what is the process for filing a writ petition in the Supreme Court? I have already told you about the writs in Indian Constitution and the five types of writs, that is habeas corpus, mandamus, certiorari, prohibition, and quo warranto. So what is the process of filing these writs in the Supreme Court? So, to file a writ petition in the Supreme Court under Article 32, the petitioner must draft the petition, specify the type of writ, attach necessary documents, and submit it with the court fee. After a preliminary hearing, the court may issue a notice to the respondent who then submits a counter affidavit, and following arguments from both sides, the court delivers its judgment, ensuring quick relief for fundamental rights violations. Our next question is, how does bail work in India and what are the different types of bail? So, bail in India allows an accused person to be released from custody while ensuring their court appearance. The three main types are regular bail for those already in custody, anticipatory bail for those fearing arrest, and interim bail, which means the temporary relief until a final decision. Bail conditions may include bonds or restrictions to prevent misuse, balancing the rights of the accused with justice and public safety. So now we'll move on to the some landmark judgments. I'll just give you the quick overviews of all these judgments. So the first one is Keshav Nanda Bharti versus State of Kerala 1973. So this case explained the basic structure doctrine. Menka Gandhi 1978 expanded personal liberty. Minerva Mills 1980 strengthened fundamental rights, while Vishakha case 1997 it provides protection against workplace harassment. DK Basu, it provides 1980 strengthened fundamental rights, while Vishakha case 1997 it provides protection against workplace harassment. DK Basu, it provided arrest guidelines. Indira Gandhi Sawhney 1992 is related to reservation in India, while Shaira Banu case is related to the triple talaq case. That's it for today's video. If you found this useful, like, share, and subscribe to Legal Talks with Malak. Let me know in the comments if you want more detailed explanations. See you in the next video.